coming down in 3, 2, 1.
Denton, Texas, America, and the world. It's time for the Green Guys Show.
I'm a big Green Guys fan.
A full hour of all things Mean Green Sports. Live from the KNTU studios on the campus of the University of North Texas.
We're surrounded by North Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Green Guys Show.
There's not much that gets me more fired up.
Vegas, baby. It wasn't that too fun for the Mean Green, especially in the second half. But we'll get into that in a little bit. I'm Zach Babb, the producer-engineer of the Green Guys. The show is not about me. It's about the 4 Mean Green students who run this thing. I'm joined by Kevin Walker. What's going on? Blake Elliott.
Yes, sir.
Anthony Council.
Yeah, buddy.
And Cullen Brown.
What up?
How we doing today?
Doing all right.
I'm just glad I didn't spend my money on this UNT Vegas game. I'm just glad I got to keep it.
Were you thinking about placing a bet on this game, Anthony?
I was not, but I know that,
I don't think many people
there
did.
was 3 out of the 4 of us got the right prediction. just saying.
Anthony, I wouldn't really be talking. You have the Mean Green winning 9 games, dude.
I'm just saying, 3 of us against them. 1 being in a green studio and 2 being in a yellow.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I just woke up on the right side of the bed after I saw the win.
Are we already trash talking about the?
I guess so.
About the game show later
No. He's saying how he picked them to win.
Yeah,
yeah.
We did it. Anyways.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
UNT, I don't think they picked themselves. It
Exactly.
didn't look like it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I looked down at my phone, it was a somewhat close game. And I was like, oh, they got a chance. And then you look back 3 minutes later and they're down by 30.
Are we sure the UNT Mean Green showed up to Las Vegas? Are you sure they didn't go to Atlantic City? They heard gambling and maybe they went different part of the country?
Definitely could happen.
Probably.
At least Seth did.
You think they stayed in Vegas long after that game?
Yeah, they might have had to catch a charter bus home. They couldn't even afford their flights after all their losses.
Oh my goodness, the HSOs are flying. I need to duck. Okay, let's jump right into what was Saturday's game. It started off interesting enough. UNLV and North Texas traded scores. UNLV got a safety in there. It was 7-0 UNLV. Then on the very next kickoff, Kaylon Horton responded with a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. That made it 7-7. Then UNLV got a safety. Then the Mean Green got a field goal, 10-9, heading into the second quarter. By the time the second quarter rolled around, 2 straight touchdowns for UNLV made it 23-10. But then North Texas responded with an Oscar Attaway 7-yard pass from Austin Awney and an Ethan Mooney field goal, and that made it 23-20 heading into the break. So we're probably thinking, hey, we got a fighter's chance. We're still in this thing.
Look good.
And then the third quarter starts.
Mm-hmm. It's usually when we stop.
Well, at first, wasn't too bad, a 30-20, as Doug Brumfield ran for a 29-yard score that gave UNLV a 10-point lead. North Texas punched back. A 54-yard pass from Austin Awney to Varkees Gums. Gums' second touchdown reception of the year made it 30-27. And then it all kind of fell apart. 4 straight touchdowns after that for UNLV to make it a 58-27 final score. The Mean Green get outscored 35-7 in the second half alone, and to point at the fourth quarter specifically, 21-0. All right, who wants to try and pick this apart first?
Well, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I did do my stats research again.
Yes, sir. Stats.
Cullen, if you remember correctly, you have a better memory than I do. How many yards did I say UNT had to have rushing to win this game?
Well, more than what they got. That's for sure, Kevin.
I believe I said something around 250. They had 169 rushing yards. Nobody even reached 100 yards rushing. Nobody at all. They had 305 yards passing. which is interesting. But Cullen's talked about this in games past. Austin Ani's, responsibility of the ball. He had 2 touchdowns, but he had 2 turnovers as well. UNLV had none. And it looked ugly. 3-11 on 3rd downs, 1 of 4 on 4th downs. We didn't play to our game plan.
I would agree, Kevin. I've mentioned it time and time again. This is going to be the constant theme, I think, for this Mean Green offense is looking at the quarterback. And, you're the oldest quarterback in Division I football. You surely by now know that taking care of the football is half the battle when playing the quarterback position. Austin Ani with 2 interceptions, as you mentioned. I know we're not in a leap year, so there's 365 days in a year. And the UNLV Rebels ran for 365 yards, so basically they can run on us any day they want to, it seems like, for at least a yard.
I like that. Nice.
That was something that we were coming into this game thinking, okay, we need to slow down the pass, worry about the secondary and everything, but it just didn't matter. UNLV just manhandled us up front, and we just could not stop the run at all. And, anytime you give up 365 yards on the ground, I'm not sure what the stat is on the win percentage for teams that give up that kind of rushing yardage.
Not too great.
I would imagine it's not great.
Yeah. By the way, their running back, Aiden Robbins, ran for 227 yards and 3 touchdowns. Their quarterback averaged 8 yards a clip, ran for exactly 100 yards, had 2 scores on the ground.
He killed them.
Yeah.
He destroyed them.
I didn't think Brumfield's legs would be a big deciding factor in this game.
He's looking like Lamar Jackson.
Well, not only that, but he had 211 yards passing, and what was it, 2 or 3? He had touchdowns and he had no turnovers.
When your last name is Brumfield, he's gonna run the field. It just makes sense. Maybe 100, like he did, but. Your last name is Brumfield. It just makes sense.
And another thing is,
the field was very brummy this past Saturday.
And another
he got the Brum out.
Oh my goodness.
Another thing is UNT can't expect to win if they have no rushing touchdowns. Literally, we have been talking about it since day one. They run by committee, and you have no rushing touchdowns. There's just no way you can expect to win.
That committee got smaller. I don't know if y'all noticed this. The large part of the committee, we've talked about it. There was legitimately 4 running backs that I thought could really contribute to this rushing attack. 14 and 11 carries for Oscar Attaway and Ayo Adaye, or Adaye, excuse me.
Ayo Adaye.
Ayo Adaye. I'm eventually going to get that name right.
Adaye.
Adaye.
There we go.
There we go.
Got
I'll
it.
eventually get it right one of these days. They were the only 2 that really saw major action. Akika Ragsdale only had 5. Akika. Good Lord.
Shout out Saunders.
Names are hard. English is hard. But the 2 other running backs only combined for 10 total attempts between them. So I'm not sure if these guys have just stayed out in camp, if the other 2 have gotten in the doghouse or anything. But this is something definitely keep your eye on moving forward as we get into the heart of our schedule.
Yeah, your 2 top running backs, they ran both for 73 yards. One for the longest one was 15. The other one was 16. Like Kevin said, you had to have at least 200 rushing yards to even come back at this game. Brumfield had one heck of a game. Austin Ani threw for 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. That's decent, but you just got to do better. The UNLV defense, they took care of business on the defensive end. Their senior had at least 12 tackles. Their senior linebacker had at least 12 tackles. I'm lost for words for that defense because it was insane.
Well, I have a question for y'all, for everybody. So, as Zach mentioned and highlighted earlier, it was 20-23 going into half. I don't know how many of y'all were tuning into the game, but it was 20-23 going into half. Like Zach said, it looked like we had a fighter's chance. It looked like we were doing pretty good. But going into halftime, what normally happens is one of 2 things. Either it's going to become a coaching battle on who's going to be able to have the better game plan coming out of half, who can make the better coaching adjustments, or who's going to get a fire lit under them and do better in the second half. Do y'all think that North Texas lost the second half horribly, being outscored 7-35, due to coaching or players?
I got you. This is definitely a non-talent issue. I think we've got the guys. We've got highly touted guys. We've got Jair out there, Jake Roberts, Varkey's Gums. Like, we have the talent to compete with all these teams. I really think it's a coaching thing, and it's shown that Latrell's record on the road is atrocious. Like, the percentage, like, it is not a high one at all. And I really do think Latrell's seat is getting hotter by the moment. Like you just said, in that second half, we saw the talent produce a making the game somewhat close in the first half. And then the second half, fourth quarter mainly, like, we just fall apart because I think it's literally a coaching issue, a discipline issue, penalties, getting kicks blocked, like things that good programs don't do.
I would partly agree, Blake. I do think, scheming does have our coaching, the scheming and everything does have a factor in it. But I also think UNLV was the more talented football team this past weekend. Just from my perspective, watching the game, and yes, we were competitive up to, sometime in the third quarter, but it just seemed like, it got to the point where UNT just couldn't handle the resistance any longer, and they just eventually, Brumfield, I was very surprised at his dual threat ability. It just seemed like any time UNT got them in a situation where they could get off the field, Brumfield just made a play with his legs that either, continue the play, allowing him to throw downfield, or just pick up the first yard himself, and that's just something that UNT doesn't have at the quarterback position themselves. So it's a little bit of partly to blame for both, in my opinion. You could divvy up the the credit however you want to go, but I don't think it was one thing or the other personally.
I think the way that Robbins and Brumfield, like you said, were running and getting extra yards after contact, the tackling was like fell apart.
It was a lot of falling forward,
a lot of falling forward, a lot of broken tackles for UNLV against North Texas. Like, those are the little things that can decide a first down to keep a drive alive, or a touchdown or whatnot. So I have a question for you, Cullen.
What's going on?
So after this last game, on the games coming up, not to look too far ahead, do you think this is the only game that we would have been favored in? Because I don't think the next 5 games will be favored, or we're going to be dogs in all those.
Well, so
like, it's not getting any easier.
Well, again, it's hard to predict, especially 5 weeks down the line where we'll be as a team. But, if you remember, like, I was talking about this team when we made our preseason predictions. I didn't believe this team was a bowl game team. Like, I didn't think they were going to have a winning record or get to that 6-7 win threshold. And I nothing up to this point has made me think that they're going to prove me wrong otherwise. So it's going to be rough for them. They do go on the road.
11.5 point dogs to Memphis right now.
Next week, and then they're
so.
home for 2, and then they're on the road again for UTSA in Western Kentucky. That doesn't look like a good stretch right there. I'm not going to lie. What are we hoping for? 3-2 at the best. Like, very, very fortunate. That's very optimistic. That's Anthony level optimistic.
You've got, just by the way, we need one more loss to match Anthony's entire loss prediction total for the season.
So then from then on, we'll be undefeated, right?
We've got, so we lose to Memphis and then we win out.
Right.
11.5 point dogs to Memphis. You're at home against FAU. You maybe you get a favor. Maybe you get because you get 3 points for being at home. Yeah. So maybe you're a 3-point favorite.
I think we'll be favored, but I don't think we'll win.
Louisiana Tech, probably a dog. UTSA, definitely a dog.
UTSA too.
Yeah.
And then in the Dome.
And then at Western Kentucky, who hung with freaking Big Ten Indiana last weekend. You're probably a dog in that game on the road as well. So
it's literally going downhill from here as far as scheduling goes. It's definitely going to have to be something that's said in the locker room to change the mentality of the way they were playing in the second half, and penalties and mental errors. And I do think the talent could obviously be better with NIL recruiting that changes and whatnot, but you got to do what you got to do, and coaches have done more with less.
Yeah, also if you look at it, if you look at the plays, and UNLV just made the more efficient plays. There was only 2 times that the UNLV Rebels made double digits in plays. Like, there was one time they made 17 plays and got a touchdown. Another time they had 15 plays and got a touchdown.
They were very methodical with their drives.
Yeah, the rest of the times the highest outside of the double figures is 7 plays. There are times they made 3 plays and got a touchdown. And for UNT, most of the time it was either a field goal with 12 plays or 3 plays and you got to punt the ball. I just think that UNT they weren't as efficient. Like Cullen said, they faced a very, very strong UNLV team, and they just weren't afraid at the end of the day.
Yeah, and if I might add, just to kind of close this off, unless anybody else has any more comments, it's a frustrating loss because you did have a chance at one point in time. If not for a majority of that game, you actually had a shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a frustrating loss in that aspect, but even if you didn't win and you came in close, or you were able to pull off that miraculous victory, that's momentum. And I can tell you right now, there's no way that locker room has any momentum going forward.
Yeah, I'll just add 2 stats that really stood out to me that were interesting that would be in our favor, and then Zach, you can close us out. On time of possession, they had the ball for almost 15 more minutes, and that's, like you said, those methodical drives. I mean, when you have a quarterback that's already not in rhythm and then you're not on the field that much, it's even harder to get on rhythm. But I will say, to their credit, Roderick Burns and Jair Shorter had both, I think, really good games, had over 80 yards catching, so they might establish themselves as wide receiver 1 and 2, and only 3 penalties for 25 yards for the Eagles, which you don't see too often.
Well, there you go. There's the loss to UNLV as the Mean Green drop to 2-2 on the year. Coming up next, we discuss Memphis and what it might take for an upset in the Liberty Bowl. That's coming up on the Green Guys.
Hi, my name is Carnay Dillard. I play volleyball. I'm a senior outside, and you're listening to the Green Guys.
Well, welcome back to the Green Guys, where we discuss all things North Texas sports, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Now time to discuss... Oh, my goodness.
I love that. You're just excited.
Time to discuss some Memphis versus Mean Green.
That was great.
Thank you, Anthony.
We just wanted to get the music
As
behind
we're
it.
destroyed by the NFL Films music.
Just in case y'all were asleep, y'all aren't now.
Yes, North Texas and Memphis this weekend from Memphis at the Liberty Bowl. Mean Green enter this game as 11.5-point dogs. Memphis led by a guy who, man, it would have been awesome to get him to go to UNT, but he didn't. Seth Hennigan from the Denton area goes to Memphis, and now he has turned them into a little bit of a mid-major punching power. Memphis right now 2-1. Their only loss was to Mississippi State, and that game was played in Starkville, 49-23. They responded with a 37-13 win on the road at Navy, and then opened up their home schedule last week with a 44-32 defeat over Arkansas State. Seth Hennigan is the real deal. What do the Mean Green have to do to pull off the 11.5-point upset, if it even happens?
Well, why don't I just tell you what Memphis has been doing so far this season, and y'all can tell me if we even have a shot.
Run for 400 yards.
Yeah, the new rushing number has surpassed 250.
Yeah.
It is now, you need to rush for at least 500 yards and 45 touchdowns to have a shot, apparently. But in all reality, Memphis has thrown to at least 8 receivers in both of their wins, that being Arkansas State and Navy. 9 receivers had a catch in against Arkansas State. In both of the wins, a combined total amount of passing yards alone, they have 775 passing yards in 2 games. They're not a very heavy rushing attack, but they can punch the ball in for a touchdown. Some of their rushers do have touchdowns. They don't have just one main guy, but they don't have a running back by committee per se. So basically, UNT would have to lock down the pass to force them to run. So y'all just tell me if that's feasible.
Well,
anybody?
Good luck for the Mean Green. I'm just gonna call it what it is. Seth Hennigan is a cold assassin. I mean, he threw for 3 touchdowns, 360 yards for Memphis against the Red Wolves last week. I mean, you just gotta watch out because, like Kevin said, he's able to punch it in time and time again, like he did against the Red Wolves. I mean, the first quarter it was 7-7, then 10-14, and the third quarter they didn't even score. No team scored, and then the score was 23-15 for Memphis, and I mean it was just
they can shut out offenses.
Yeah,
they have been able to do that against Navy. They didn't allow them to score for 2 whole quarters.
Yeah, it seems like they play really, really fast, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing for our defense is if we're able to keep up with their tempo, because if not, Hennigan's just going to be throwing a bloodbath out there for Memphis.
Zach, I know you've got kind of you are a podcast kind of historian and just kind of writing everything down. Did anybody have this game as a win before the season, or do we all predict a loss here?
No, we all predicted a loss.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, when you come off of that game 2 weeks ago against Texas Southern, in which you were, let's just say, for lack of a better term, lackluster in the win against, FCS program, and then, you obviously had what we just talked about in the previous segment. I don't know what you can really hang your hat on if you're UNT. I mean, we're going to preach the same stuff, right? Ani, you just don't need to turn the ball over. Try to keep your turnovers to a limited. You want to establish the run, whether it's 250, 400, however many yards. I think you just need to make sure you're consistently keep picking up first downs, keeping their offense off the field. But yeah, this just seems to me like it's almost, Zach, you set it up. I mean, a Denton kid, facing his hometown team and just really sticking it to him, being like, why didn't you come here? Well, because you got a better thing going on in Memphis right now than the UNT Mean Green do.
Yeah, and they left on, from what I'm hearing, decent terms. I don't think there's any bad blood from Gunnell and the coaches and Seth Hennigan. They the coach of Memphis actually spoke very highly of Gunnell and said that he hopes he prospers, sees a lot in him. The kid just wants to play. And that's what you have to do at some point. You have to transfer if you want to play, and I think this will be his team next year. So I think he'll be watching quite closely from the sideline and be ready for his name to be called, because I feel like this could be a game where Gunnell checks in early if Ani has a slow start. I'm not saying it's for the season, but this is definitely a game that'll be a little bit more emotional for him. He'll probably be fired up. He's probably having a great practice and whatnot. So I would be watching to see Ani's performance and body language throughout the game.
Okay, Blake. So I want to ask you about that, because you've brought that up before about Gunnell potentially getting in for Ani.
Mm-hmm.
Now Ani, hasn't been bad this year in terms of touchdown interception ratio. He's 2-1 with that, 9 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Completing, I'd say over just a little over 50% of his passes. What do you think it would take in the first half for Gunnell to potentially see some action? Because you've been really on this potential quarterback switch now since, I think for a couple of weeks now, you've been kind of hinting at it. What would it take for you?
Are you saying from Ani or from Gunnell?
Well, I mean, Gunnell, he's got to show what he can do in practice. That's obvious. I'm talking about, if we get into the game, Memphis, first half, what does the stat line have to look like for Ani for Gunnell to potentially get in there?
I think it would definitely have to be a interception to touchdown ratio that was not positive in his on his side. I think if he goes out there and throws for 100, 150, they're down by a touchdown or 10, I think he'll be fine. But if he goes out there first couple drives throwing picks, fumbling, which he could do, especially because he knows his team is down and he's going to try to overcompensate now, I think it's something that is very plausible. I give it like a 25% chance. I don't think it's immediately going to happen or certain, but I definitely think it's something to watch out for. The Gunnell will be ready for his moment, and I feel like this week, if any moment, might as well be the time to, if you are going to see where Gunnell's really got in a full situation.
Can I also point out something too, because I was looking up some stats while I was listening to Blake kind of defend his stance there. UNT is currently giving up over 500 yards of total offense per game. That's incredible to me. Like, incredibly bad. Like, over 100 yards a quarter.
That's bad. That's really, really bad. You can't win football games that way.
Yeah, and again, we've, for the most part, I think the front seven's done their job, but that secondary has been in shambles.
That's Cardinals defense right there.
That's... I don't even know how you can... how do you put that just on tape and convince your guys, okay, this quarter, can we try to... 100? Like, is that the goal at this point, or?
Well, and another thing, I mentioned earlier that in the past 2 games, Memphis's quarterback has thrown for 775 yards. The season total for Austin Ani's passing yards is 945. That's the season combined. We're talking about Memphis has 2 games for 775. So it's like you're giving up a lot of yards, but you're not. It's not like you're turning around and like having shootouts with heavy passing and high score affairs. It's very one-sided.
No, yeah, and I mean UNT is giving up 210 yards rushing while Memphis is only giving up 135. Like you're not gonna win. Like, even though Memphis may not have the best rushing attack in the world, they have a decent one that's very, very good. But you're not gonna win if you're just giving up 210 yards. If you're UNT, your defense, your front line has to be strong enough. And I'm specifically talking about Davis. I mean, obviously he can't do it all, but I mean, your whole entire defensive front has to be there, has to be awake. It can't be asleep like how they were against Texas Southern with cornerbacks not being woken up whenever Andrew Body was throwing darts to his receivers. I mean, you have to be awake during the whole entire game and alert. And hopefully this past game has woken them up just to see what they have to do against this Memphis squad.
Yep, that about sums it up. I think this is definitely a game that they got to be paying attention to what they're doing.
Do we got any score predictions?
I have a question for y'all before we dive into score predictions.
I don't even know what we would say at this point for score predictions.
Okay, go for it, Zach.
Where do you, knowing you were going into the American next year?
Oh God!
With all the schools,
you are playing 2 American teams this year. You've already lost to one American team, 48-10.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Remember it well.
What, in your opinion, y'all's opinions, if Memphis just blows UNT out of the water,
pull the plug.
What does the panic set in for next year?
The panic, or
is the panic already set in?
Yeah, I was going to say the panic for me is already set in. We have a lot of questions on quarterback. We don't have a clear, definite quarterback who's going to take over after Sinani. Our corner, our safeties, our secondary is not helping. The only thing we really have going for us right now is the front 7. And our receivers, we think they can make catches. We think they can make touchdowns, but we don't really know. We're not a pass-heavy offense. That's not our scheme. And once our run is limited, it doesn't look like we can go to pass. I don't know if the American is a pass-heavy, conference or a run-heavy offense, but right now I don't know if we can fit in either category. It's just the doubt for me is already set in. I don't know. If we get blown out here, it's going to be very, very, very ugly next few years.
Genuine question. If you're a recruit and, you're looking at the other teams in the American Conference going into next year, what is your selling point if you're UNT?
Thank you. I've been saying that. What is your selling point? There's no angle.
Help turn us around.
You're a Metroplex school.
You'll probably get a starting spot if you know how to catch a football.
And most of the kids, they can just as far go to SMU, so it's not even like a distance thing.
Yeah, we have a great basketball team. Yeah.
No, that really doesn't help us in this topic now, does it, Anthony?
I know. I'm just making stuff up. I'm just saying.
Well, y'all have good NIL, right? Well,
we're we have the longest tenured coach in Texas history.
Hey, be optimistic.
I again, and Anthony ever being the optimist will always look on the brighter side. But to me, it's one of those things that if we can't prove that we can at least compete with American teams like before we transfer in next year, I mean, we're just going to be looking at an upward climb, going into that conference and just trying to battle our way up into, relevancy.
I think a decent example is how UTSA just played Texas. Like, obviously, at the very end, it got a hand away from them. But for most of the game, it was competitive. You didn't know who was going to win. And so that can always help recruits. I can be that next guy to get him over the hump to beat a Texas or an Oklahoma or a Florida or whoever they may play. So I think, those are the selling points. But in all of our games, when they're the big lights, we just fold and roll out a goose
It's not
egg.
like we're even close. It's like, well, I would love to be that next man for you to get you over the hump, but you need an entire defense.
Yep.
So
okay,
right on the spot.
It feels like we need another year before we get into the American to
we
tune
need
ourselves
another decade.
Okay, so I'm guessing most of us, from Zach's telling us the predictions of it is from all of us. Memphis is probably going to win this game, more likely. But what is a good score?
I will be shocked if we win.
If we cover, I'll be shocked.
What is a good score?
Honest.
What is a good score for UNT to have, even if they lose? And this isn't a score prediction, but what is a good score?
Less than 2 touchies.
But the thing about it is, Anthony, is that we're past the even if we lose aspect. It's kind of like if you lose now.
No, I'm saying because like Cullen said, we're gonna be in the American League, right? And I'm not saying for recruiting, but okay, we have to prove that we can compete at least. So, what is a good score for UNT to have?
Honestly,
covering the spread.
We just lost 58-27 after being down by 3 points at halftime. I'm going to say just don't lose by more than 14 points, I guess.
If we lose and the final score is within single digits of each other,
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to be.
So I'll be so
I'll promise this. I will have my tune changed this next podcast if
So
we
you're gonna
lose
bring
by
cookies
less than
or
10 points.
Write it down, take a picture, send it to him. Cullen Brown is.
What if we only make a field goal?
I couldn't say
I'll
I'd
be
be
ecstatic.
surprised.
Yeah.
I think that was a dig at my Cowboys, and I don't like
Yeah.
that, Anthony. I don't like that at all.
I was not going to make a dig at all.
It felt like it, so
I
take it
really
back.
okay, fine.
We are.
Felt that.
We got to wait till the last segment, guys. We can't be going at each other's throats now. We got to save that for the end of the show.
This is what the Eagles do to us. This is what
it really
the
is.
Mean Green does.
Alrighty. Well, there you go. There's a little look ahead to Memphis and what the Mean Green need to do to, compete, I guess.
I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say this last thing. You know, Memphis is the home of blues and the birthplace of rock and roll. And the Mean Green may turn a little bit blue after this game. And Hennigan, he's going to be playing rock and roll all the way till they get back to Denton. I'm just saying.
So are we losing or winning?
Oh, we gonna take the L. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, there you go. Memphis talk. Coming up next, we discuss a little bit of volleyball, but want to focus a lot on soccer. You're listening to the Green Guys.
Hey, this is Herman Johnson from the Denton Broncos, and you're listening to the Green Guys.
And welcome back to the Green Guys, where we discuss all things North Texas sports. Time to shift gears out of the world of football and talk a little bit of volleyball and soccer. And we'll start off with the volleyball talk today. It has been a tough schedule recently for Mean Green volleyball. Of course, last week they played number 14 Baylor down in Waco, got swept. Then they played they went up to Bozeman, Montana, by the way, for a Montana State tournament. They played against number 18 Washington. So back-to-back top 25 matches they had to fight their way through. Got swept in both of them. Got swept by Washington. Then they played Boise State, lost 3-1 in that game, and then bounced back with a 3-1 win over Montana State. That's it for non-conference in volleyball. Conference play kicks off this Friday, September 23rd in Boca Raton when they play Florida Atlantic. But who's got some thoughts on volleyball? Because I feel like it's hard to kind of get a good read on them right now, because we talk every week about how there's a lot of new players and it's a new coach in Christy Porter, and they have just been playing some teams lately.
Well,
so what are y'all's thoughts?
Well, I got to give Anthony some credit. I didn't realize you could really make sports simple in some aspects, but his thing about the first set, it just continues to be true. They lost the first set to Boise. They lost the Boise State, excuse me. They lost the first set to Washington, lost both those matches. They did get the win, however, in their most recent match against the Montana State Bobcats, and they ended up winning that game. So apparently all you need to look at is the first set, and you get a good idea of where the match is going for the Mean Green. So, Anthony, I just want to give you credit for that.
No, all you need to do is listen to me. Listen to the Green Guys podcast and listen to me talk volleyball. Because I've been saying this for the past, what like 4 podcasts now?
Yeah.
All you got to do is win the first set.
I had to give you credit.
And I appreciate it.
You know?
I appreciate it. The next couple matches are going to be pretty challenging. Not as challenging as they did against Washington or Baylor. I mean, like Zach said, they are 2 of the top powerhouses in volleyball out there. So I mean, I think at least they try to give them a fight. They try to give them a run for their money. Obviously, it didn't work out, but I mean, for the Baylor game, they did play their best. They did play very close in the second set. The first set, like Cullen said, it just wasn't good. But, I mean, that last game that they played against Montana, it actually was really good. I'm glad that they got the win against Montana State. 25-21 the first set, 25-22 second, 18-25. They really won all 3, most of the sets in this, and that's why they got the 3-1 victory.
Yeah, no, I just want to give credit to a couple of volleyball players. Erin Johnson led the way in that win over Montana State. She has a season high 17 kills on 29 attacks. And also Alexa Washington established a new career high with 15 helpers along with 5 digs. So we've definitely got some bright spots on this UNT volleyball team. Anthony, my question to you, now that we're about to start conference play, This is where we really see where we fall in the pecking order. Mm-hmm. What are you looking forward to most from this volleyball squad? Is it simply, just how they gel together, going up against, arguably level competition, being in their own conference, or is it something else that you're going to be looking for over these next couple of weeks?
I think just consistency. I think you got a little bit of momentum with Montana State. You kind of know how you should play. I mean, especially after playing against Boise, Washington, Baylor, Portland State. I mean, you kind of got some games under your belt now, and with winning against Montana State, I think FAU, FIU, Rice. I think those games you should be able to win. At least keep them close.
Rice is in the top 25, by the way. So
you should try to keep them close.
The Florida schools, you're right on, but
yeah,
Rice is going to be a tough task.
I mean, but then after Rice, you got UTEP and La Tech, right? So I mean,
winnable.
Right, so and those are very winnable. So it's just about staying consistent, winning that first set, and I think that they should be fine. I think the record of 6-9 should go a little bit better, should go up, and the win streak should also go up for them. So, but we'll just see. I mean, like you said, it's a new coach, new system, so we'll see how conference play goes for them.
I mean, it's really just a learning experience, is what I've come to learn about this season. I mean, it's a new era.
Yeah,
in UNC volleyball. So I'm very interested to see how they start conference play. I think consistency, you nailed it. I mean, if we can really just start to build momentum, they've played with each other now it's been 15 games now, or 15 matches, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
They should be well ready to hit conference play on the ground running, and hopefully they can rattle off some victories and really trying to build some momentum.
Yeah, and I think even with the chemistry, the more chemistry you have with your players, making it a family, because that's really what sports is it's a big family. The better the chemistry, the better they're going to play, and the more wins they're going to rack up.
All right.
Well, there you go, and that is volleyball talk. Now time to shift gears to soccer, because something historic happened this past Sunday at the Mean Green Soccer and Track and Field Stadium. For the first time in 66 home conference matches, the Mean Green lost 1-0 to Florida Atlantic. That is their first home conference loss. Again, it's soccer, so there's a lot of draws in there. It's not a winning streak. It's a streak without a loss. But they had not lost at home in conference play since the days of the Sun Belt. Halloween 2008, to be specific. They lost 3-0 at home to Denver, and then they did not lose another home match again until Sunday. Where were you Halloween 2008? I'm just curious.
I was, 2008. I was 9 years old, so I was probably dressed up as the Joker in somebody random's front yard grabbing a huge candy bar that I wasn't supposed to.
Anybody else?
That was interesting. Learned something new about Blake. Okay, so this was 2008. Let's see.
Halloween 08.
Cullen, you were
I want to know what you were
middle-aged man
dressed.
by then, right?
Really?
I think I was on my third midlife crisis at that point.
It really matters what you were dressed as.
I think. I don't know. My memory's a little shaky.
I don't think it takes age to reach a midlife crisis.
That's fair.
What were you
That's
dressed
fair.
up as?
Yeah, what were you dressed up as? That's what we care about.
That's whatever the main song was in 2008. I probably had some.
What was
some
popular
knockoff
in black and white back then?
Hey, I was. It's hold up. Everyone,
Hold
shut
the
up.
operation.
1 second here. There's all this talk about how old Cullen is. I've never just stopped to think about it, but I asked Cullen when his birthday was the other day. I'm
Lord.
older than Cullen, and yet I don't get peppered with all these old jokes.
It's just different. I don't know. Cullen just doesn't hate it. He kind of accepts it, just like how I accept. I'm typically the youngest person in the room, and they dog on me for that.
Never the youngest.
It's just
Alrighty.
different. I don't know why.
Just wanted to get that across.
See,
that
Zach,
Cullen's not the oldest person here.
Zach, you project wisdom and all the great things with experience and everything. I'm just more or less like, how did I get here? Kind of energy.
I don't agree. I think Cullen projects a lot of wisdom.
Oh, thanks, man.
Well,
appreciate it.
Alrighty, but back on topic.
Anyway.
The soccer team lost their first home game in 14 years. Home conference game in 14 years. So that went through a conference change from the Sun Belt to the to Conference USA. Technically a third or a second conference change if you count the American being announced before the move was official. It lasted a stadium change, moving across the street from the old soccer field to the new soccer and track and field stadium. A ton of players. The only thing that was constant in the last 14 years is, guess who? John Hedlund.
The Hedlund. So I think something interesting from that game, we were aggressive per usual. We had 14 shots and 4 of them on goal. FAU had 1 shot on goal and they made it.
In the 5th minute of the game, mind you, their first shot of the game.
First shot, just come out the gate, and then it was just a defensive battle until then. And Summer had a chance to score. She did score, but it was called back for offsides. Baloney.
Did you watch that call?
No, that was baloney.
Okay. It should not have been offsides, in your opinion. Okay.
Anyways, I think that UNT, if they keep the attack, that they're still playing great defense. It's these early penalties and the early just coming out slow when a team scores. This is now, 3 or 4 games that they've been scored on in the first 7 minutes?
I believe so. I know they beat Charlotte 4-0, but Tech scored early. SMU scored early. Texas State responded early, I think. Oklahoma scored early. So, kind of a bit of a streak. Something of a recurring
Our defense
theme there.
gets going, but just coming out the gate hot is so important, especially in these low-scoring affairs. So, I'm not hitting the panic button, even though they're almost at a 500 record. I still think they will take care of conference play going through. And they have 3 players in the top 3 points, and Olivia, Maddie Jernowitz, and Taylor. So I think there's a lot of talent. It's just bringing it together, which I think they will do. I'm way more confident in this team than the one we were talking about earlier.
I'm more confident in the football team than the football team.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally back that. I think that, I agree. There's no reason to hit the panic button. This is a historically great franchise, historically great head coach that's run it as well. There's no reason to freak out, no reason to panic, because in all reality, we're still 1-1 in conference, and you can come back from that. There's no one saying that you can't. Just take care of the rest of your schedule. You're going to have a lot of competition against Rice, as mentioned before, but we'll see what happens. But no reason to hit the panic button.
Well, there you go. Soccer talk from a historic weekend. The first home loss, again, in conference play for Mean Green Soccer since Halloween 2008. It's been a while.
Spooky.
Very spooky. Coming up next, we play a game called Bluff City. That's next on the Green Guys.
Hey everybody, this is Jaylee Mitchell, head coach of the University of North Texas women's basketball team, and you are listening to the Green Guys.
One final segment here on the Green Guys. It's the traditional segment where we take the time to learn a little bit about the upcoming football opponent and everything that surrounds them. This week the game is called Bluff City, focusing on Memphis trivia. Hope you did your studying beforehand.
Shout out Young Dolph.
All right. Here we go. Right into it. By the way, the season series 4-0 Yellow Studio.
Yep, we know.
Yeah.
Yellow fellows up.
All righty. Question number 1. The University of Memphis has gone through a handful of name changes. What's its original name? Is it A, Memphis State University? Is it B, West Tennessee State Normal School? Or is it C, East Mississippi River College?
Okay, Kevin, you should know this.
Is it Green Studio first?
Green Studio first.
Should have been the first thing you looked up. He does the same question every week.
Yeah.
The name change.
True. That is true. I'm going to go B. I think B.
West Tennessee State Normal School.
This
Lock
week's
it
different.
in?
This week's different. Come on.
All righty. Yellow Studio.
Let's see. Middle Tennessee State, the normal school.
No, Memphis State University.
Well, wasn't the second answer the normal, something with normal in it?
West Tennessee State Normal School.
West Tennessee Normal State School.
Normal
and then
school.
That's just the name that stuck out, or the word.
And then East Mississippi River College.
What are you thinking, Ant?
East Mississippi what?
River College.
Oh, that sounds unique, so we're not going with the unique one. We'll just go with the wildest one. Let's go with normal.
You want to go with the normal?
Yeah, normal.
All right, it stuck out to me too. Yeah, why not?
All right, and both of y'all are correct.
All right.
It was West Tennessee State Normal School was the original name of the University of Memphis. 1-1 is your score.
This is how we started last week.
Number 2, Memphis loves its tiger mascot. Which of these is true of Memphis's devotion to the tiger moniker? Is it A, the university has built more than 100 tiger statues on and off campus?
It's a lot of crowdfunding.
Is it B, incoming freshmen are required to pet Tom, the live tiger, before enrolling in their first classes? Or is it C, slinging hunks of raw meat into Tom's enclosure is said to bring good luck before exams?
So it's us starting, correct?
Yes, Yellow Studio starts.
Okay, so they would not allow, in my opinion, they would not allow someone to pet if the tiger took it the wrong way. That would be a pending lawsuit, and we would have heard about it.
Facts.
And then the first one, remind me the first answer again.
The university has built more than 100 tiger statues on and off campus.
That would be really intimidating if they just had that like outside the stadium, like the way bus just pulls up to the stadium,
like 30 tiger statues.
Yes, just all staring at different directions, just all around the busway. I'm leaning towards.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm leaning C. But what do you think?
I mean, 100.
That's what I'm saying.
On and off campus.
100 on and off. So what it classifies as off campus? Is it just somewhere in the state of Tennessee or?
I don't think so, because, I mean, you have the Grizzlies. So, I mean, like, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, do they claim those statues?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I'm thinking C.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go with C.
Locking in C. Slinging hunks of raw meat into Tom's enclosure is said to bring good luck before exams. Green Studio, your answer.
I think we're also go with C.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
C
All right.
sounds.
And both of y'all are wrong.
All right.
It was A.
It was the university has built more than 100 tiger statues
what I was
on
gonna-
and off campus.
That is
gonna say
crazy.
that. I was thinking that.
That is nuts.
That was a lot.
Why so many?
They love their tigers in Memphis.
Fair enough.
No, it's fair to say they'll never do a name change.
I mean, they got a good barbecue. It probably attracts a bunch of them over there.
And some rock and roll, too.
Number 3, the tiger became the university's official mascot in 1939. What was the original mascot of the university? Was it A, the Blue and Gray Warriors? Was it B, the Mustangs? Or was it C, the Dodo Birds? Green Studio, you're first.
Feeling Dodo. Be honest, it's not the Mustangs. And then what was the other one?
Blue and Gray Warriors.
Could be that.
Could be possible.
I'm down for either of those. Dodo's going to be the out the box one, and Green and Blue Warriors is about as basic as it gets.
Blue and gray.
Okay.
Locking in A. Yellow Studio.
Dodo is just staring me right in the face.
I feel that. It was hard to say no to Dodo.
Do we go with the dodo?
Dodo.
Dodo?
Do we do the dodo?
We can do the dodo.
You're doing the dodo?
Yeah.
Let's do the dodo.
Locking it in.
Yep.
Locking it in.
And Green Studio is correct.
Let's
All right.
go.
They're
It
winning.
was the Blue and Gray Warriors.
See, that's called trusting your teammate.
Green Studio has a 2-1 lead.
Wait, say that again. Say that one more time.
Green Studio has a 2-1 lead.
It's a
I
rarity.
like that ring.
It's
right
a
there.
rarity, so you might as well say it a couple more times.
7 more questions to go. Memphis quarterback Seth Hennigan was a standout QB at what Denton High School?
Y'all gotta know this.
Was
gosh.
it A, Denton High, B, Geyer, or C, Ryan?
Oh,
Not
Jesus.
Yellow Studio, you're first.
I don't think it was Geyer. I think it was either Ryan or Denton High. I'm trying to remember because we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
We literally talked about this, I'm pretty sure, on the preseason before the season started for UNC football. So this one's going to really hurt if we get it wrong.
Yeah.
You said Ryan or Geyer?
Denton High, Geyer, or Ryan?
I don't think it's... I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Ryan.
You think Ryan?
Yeah,
Okay, so we're on complete opposite ends of the spectrum here, basically is what you're telling me.
basically.
All right, you know what? You got to trust your teammates sometime. We'll go with Ryan.
Yep.
All right. They're locking in Ryan, Green Studio.
We're going to go with Denton High.
Denton High.
I think they're right.
Locking it in.
Yep.
And the Yellow Studio is correct.
Ooh.
It was Ryan High School.
Wow.
Trust your teammates.
2-2 is
It's
your
okay.
score.
It's all good.
All righty. Number 5. Memphis's colors, blue and gray, were chosen in 1912 due to what reason? A, they were one of the few color combos not being used in college athletics at the time. Or was it B, As a city in the Deep South, they were chosen to represent the reunification of the country after the Civil War. Blue for Union troops, gray for Confederacy. Or was it C, the football team's blue uniforms were doused in gray paint as a prank, but the team won its first game in them, and the mix was thought to bring good luck?
I didn't like that.
I don't know, man.
Is it green that goes first or
Green
yellow?
goes first.
Okay.
Well, C seems way too elaborate. They dipped the uniforms, won the game, and then they said this is our uniforms for the season.
This is in 1912.
1912.
Yeah. So think of what happened around the time the Titanic sank.
But you got to think about it. Not a whole bunch of teams, anyway, that come to my mind are blue and gray.
I like the first one, yeah.
Even
but it was
now.
the first color combo. I mean, if you like that one, I like that one.
I think it's a safe option.
And what was B again?
The city in the Deep South, they were chosen to represent the reunification of the country after the Civil War based on Civil War uniforms.
I didn't hear the Civil War uniforms part. That's kind of enticing, that, because blue and gray is correct.
Damn.
1912, too. This is going to eat me. It's either A or B. I'm going to trust you again. Just pick whatever one you think of first. Just say it. Just trust your gut.
I want to say A, but I feel like if I say A and it's B, I'm going to
then
be so mad
do
at
B.
myself.
Let's just do B.
Do B?
Do B.
I will do B.
All right, B, they lock it in. Yellow?
All right. So we've got, they picked those colors because of the Civil War. They picked it because they were painted. And then what was the first answer?
It was just one of the few color combos not used in college athletics at the time.
That's interesting. What are you thinking, Ant?
Well, I'm just like
SpongeBob.
Those were the only colors that they had in blue and gray.
I mean, come to think of it, is there another team that you can think of that's blue and gray?
No.
And also, I don't think the Civil War one, just because if that came up and like that was the reason, I feel like they would like try to hide that as the reason.
What color is Middle Tennessee?
I'm honestly
blue and white.
Blue and white.
I mean, because like,
is that white?
What are you thinking, Ant? Come on.
This is tough. This one's hard.
This is hard.
This, I think, easily the hardest quiz Zach's given us this year.
Facts.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Memphis, and where Memphis is, it is in the South.
It is.
And,
Geography quiz.
If I go to my South roots, what happened back in the day. I'm just gonna go with the Civil War. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
I was about to say, I'm not sure where you're going with that.
Yeah,
but
the South, the North, Civil War.
That went a lot of directions.
Yeah.
Listen, we just got to ride this crazy wave. Yep.
Yeah.
We're riding with it.
You're both correct.
All right.
It was a city in the Deep South. They were chosen to represent the reunification of the country after the Civil War.
That was a
the
hard
Union
question.
troops
And we
wore
both
blue.
got it right. Look at us.
Confederacy wore gray.
Look at us being smart.
All right, number
Who would've
6.
thought?
The Liberty Bowl, Memphis's home stadium, hosted what NFL franchise in the 1990s? Was it A, 3 Kansas City Chiefs home games? Was it B, the Tennessee Oilers for one season before they moved to Nashville? Or was it C, 3 New Orleans Saints games after a hurricane damaged the Superdome?
This was when?
1990, correct?
1990s.
Is it yellow? It's yellow, right?
Yellow goes first, yes.
Yellow goes first. Okay. Trying to think, because obviously when you think of hurricanes in New Orleans, you think of Katrina first, but obviously that isn't the only hurricane that the state of Louisiana has experienced.
Right, very true.
So I'm trying to think, was there a hurricane back in around 1990?
Actually, 1997, if you want to get specific.
1997, okay. So 1997, again, that's another one of my midlife crisis years, so my brain might be a little hazy back then.
Lord. Jeez, man.
Because I don't think it's the Tennessee, because they were the Houston Oilers, if I'm correct. I don't think they were the Tennessee Oilers at any point, but I could be wrong. And then it was the Kansas City who played
3 home games there.
Right, and their home state is Missouri, correct?
Yeah.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Yep. Okay. I'm personally either leaning the Hurricane or Kansas City. Personally, what are you thinking?
See, I'm near. You said there was an Oilers team, right?
That's what I'm. But I don't know if
I'm thinking that.
You're thinking that one?
Yeah.
Do you believe that they were named the Tennessee Oilers at one point?
I mean, this is 1997.
That's true.
I mean, like, you know how fast name changes go from that point to now. I'm just thinking.
I'd just be really curious to see if they actually ever went under that name. So, do you think you want to go with it?
I'm gonna try to go with it. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with Tennessee Oilers.
All right. Green Studio.
So it's Tennessee Oilers, New Orleans, or Kansas City.
Yes.
So Kansas City, so it was Houston Oilers. I don't ever remember a Tennessee Oilers. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kansas City Chiefs, their original team was in Texas?
Dallas Texans.
Dallas. That's what it was. Okay. So 1997 you said?
Yep.
I think
Katrina?
I think we go with New Orleans. I think we go with the hurricane situation.
That's a good guess.
And Yellow Studio is correct.
Wow.
Tennessee Oilers.
Dang.
That was a thing. When they moved from Houston, they moved to initially Memphis.
A year?
They spent a year in Memphis. Attendance was terrible, so they moved the team to Nashville and renamed them the Titans.
Wow.
But it was the Tennessee
Oilers. It was the Tennessee Oilers.
I liked your thought process.
Because I'm just thinking, because you got to think how many name changes there have been since back in the day.
It's just especially because it was only 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean,
dang, man.
That's tough. All right. Well, fair enough.
All righty. So it's 4-3 Yellow Studio right now. Number 7. Memphis's original football venue, Crump Stadium, was built during the Great Depression to attract what? A. Professional football from the then fledgling NFL. B. Professional soccer during a 1930s boom in interest in the sport in the U.S. Or C. Field hockey, which was initially more popular in Memphis than football. Green Studio, you're first.
What?
I like field hockey.
I love that. That was Kevin's first response. What?
It's just so off the wall. We'll go with Blake. So trust your team.
Field hockey?
Yeah.
Do you have any prime reason, or it just stuck out?
It really stuck out.
Okay.
Field hockey feels good.
Let's do it.
It feels good.
Okay, field hockey. They lock it in. Yellow Studio.
Did you forget our name for a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, okay, we got field hockey, we got attracting NFL or soccer, correct?
Yep.
Wow, I actually remembered all three answers.
This
for once.
is in Memphis?
In Memphis.
Okay, so...
You said they're Crunk venue?
Crump. C-R-U-M-P.
Get crump with it.
Yeah.
I like crump better.
Enunciate your P.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. Okay, field hockey. That would be incredible if they built. How big is that stadium?
Yeah, that would.
I'm curious to know how big that stadium is, because that could, if it's like a small stadium, I guess field hockey could technically work, but I don't think that's the answer.
Yeah, don't steal my answer. Come up with your own.
I'm dead.
Soccer back in the 1930s. It'd be interesting if Memphis, of all places, would have been a venue for United States soccer. That's also an interesting one, and I feel like the NFL one is almost like too bait. Like, it's just the easy answer is just staring you in the face, asking you to pick it, knowing it's not the right answer.
Yeah, I don't think it would be the NFL.
So,
but then again, some of these answers are wild and some of them are right.
I know. So NFL, soccer, field hockey. I'm thinking. I almost
During
just
the
want
Great Depression.
Great Depression too. And what do depressed people play?
Field hockey.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
Honestly,
when there's a famine and you can't do anything and you're poor as dirt, what do you do? Field hockey.
Field hockey.
Right, exactly.
Do we copy their answer?
Oh my gosh.
Sure, I feel like we have to. I'm totally lost on this question, to be honest.
I am too.
Locking in C?
Yeah, locking in C.
And you're both wrong.
Yeah.
It was the obvious one.
It was, of course it was. Of course it was.
See, that was just a ploy to bring them in.
It was field hockey.
No, it was not field hockey. It was
Zach's
football.
mind games back
I
at
was
it
thinking
again.
it was field hockey. I was like, dang. Oh well.
All right, score still 4-3 Yellow Studio. We've got 3 questions left. Number 8, which of these is a University of Memphis tradition? Is it A, the Tiger Feeding Frenzy, Students toss hunks of raw meat into Tom the Tiger's enclosure. Whoever's is eaten last makes the homecoming court. Is it B, the tiger tail drop? Tiger tails are dropped from a helicopter over campus on the first day of classes each semester. Or is it C, the blue and gray war? Students reenact the Battle of Memphis from the Civil War prior to every home game.
Wow. Wow.
Yellow Studios up first. One of these is true.
One of those is true. Okay, so one of those was previously mentioned on a question we've already had.
Typo.
Yeah.
Or maybe purposely.
I know. Maybe he reworded it. He changed one word, and it's the right answer.
Mind games are at an absolute high right now from Zach.
Yeah. I called Zach out last week, and he just came back and said, nope, you're not getting me this week.
Literally.
Let's see. Okay. Gotta think of the process here.
So the tiger tail walk.
Tiger tails dropped from the sky.
Yeah, tiger tails are dropped from a helicopter.
I feel like that would give somebody PTSD.
It's a great out of context conversation starter.
I mean, not only that, but like, I feel like that's just a hazard because I mean, I'm not even sure if those are like stuffed animals, but I mean, if it hits somebody wrong or knocks somebody like off a bike or something.
Pretty sure all of these are hazards.
But which one's the least hazardous?
I mean, that's kind of what we are boiling all of this down to.
That's okay. So I don't think feeding tigers. I don't think it's the tails.
You don't think they're gonna feed tigers?
You don't think they throw tails around campus? And
would you feed a tiger?
I would feed a tiger.
I would transfer immediately.
They could drop eagle feathers on the first day of school here.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Bro, with COVID?
Yeah. Oh man. I'm thinking.
Yep.
I'm thinking. Okay, so not tails, not feeding the tiger. What was the other answer?
The Blue-Gray War. Students reenact the Battle of Memphis from the Civil War prior to every home game.
I do feel like he's mentioned the Civil War a good amount, and I'm willing to go with that answer, Anthony, if you were.
I am too.
You're going with the Civil War reenactment?
Yeah.
Locking in B?
I don't know. I don't know.
Right,
I don't know.
All right, Green Studio.
What are you thinking? I'm thinking it could possibly
It's
be
got to be
crazy ones.
It's got to be the meat
Yeah,
chunking over.
yeah, I like
right?
that.
Because I
could see
but
that.
he mentioned it twice.
This could be our downfall right here.
This could be.
This is the question.
big.
This is the
4-3,
question.
by the way. Yellow Studio leads 4-3.
This either makes or breaks us.
Do we take a leap of faith and go for the crazy A, or do we play it safe and do the Civil War with them? Stay alive for another question.
I don't know.
All right, just close your eyes. Whatever one you feel in your head, just pick that
Eeny,
one.
meeny, miny, mo.
Last time you did that, we got it right.
Catch a tiger by its toe.
You ready? Just sports. A or C? A or C?
Why? We're going with meat. We're going with chunking the meat.
Oh, I thought you said me. I was like, yeah.
All right, locking in A?
Yeah.
Both of y'all are wrong.
Oh,
It's the tiger tail drop. A helicopter
What?
drops
Wow.
tiger tails over campus
How many?
on the first day of class. each
How
semester.
many? There's no way it's more than like 5.
No, the picture on the internet, it's like it's raining tiger tails.
So it's like they're like
Stuffed animals?
fake, right?
tails, just the tail.
No,
Yeah,
they
but-
actual cut off live tiger tails and drop them from a
yeah,
helicopter.
PETA
Kevin.
would have no problem with
Oh
that.
yeah,
Oh,
none
honest-
whatsoever.
Okay, that's not too bad then. If
Okay.
you just stuff.
Yeah, they
animal
cut off
tails.
thousands of
So
tigers'
they rent
tails.
a helicopter every year to do this.
Yep.
They get them from the guys that filmed Tiger King, I guess. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Alrighty, your score's still 4-3. 2 questions left. Number 9, the Liberty Bowl, which Memphis hosts every year, originated in what city? Was it A, Washington, D.C., but a ban on football in the 1920s forced the game to find a new location and settled on Memphis? Is it B, New York City, but Yankee Stadium officials objected to a football game being played in a baseball venue at the time? Or is it C, Philadelphia, where it was named in honor of the Liberty Bell, but poor attendance forced the venue changed to Memphis? And Green Studio, you go first.
I just feel more and more stumped. See, the thing is, I knew the first question. I knew the first question right out the gate, but I didn't want to disclose it. But they still picked it. They still picked the right one. I'm at the point now where I don't even know.
Still 4-3 with 2. This is the closest game we've had. Usually Yellow Studio's running away with it by now.
Yep. Josh Allen style. We got to come up with something, man.
Okay, so it was
D.C., New York City, or Philadelphia.
So Philadelphia would be the one that makes sense.
I love Philadelphia as well. If that has any remote on this vote right here.
Were you right or wrong last time we went with your answer?
I was wrong. You were right. So if you're feeling one, I'm feeling it.
So Philadelphia, I would assume, would be probably the obvious answer. New York doesn't make much sense at all. And what was the other one? DC. Also doesn't make much sense.
DC is no.
All right. It's going to look bad if that's right.
I need a smile from Zach or something. I'm trying to read his facial cues. He's hiding behind the mic.
Any strategic advantage y'all can get helps.
Oh,
hey,
boy.
it's not your turn. I'll stay on that side of the see-through window.
Blake, you make the call.
No, because then the pressure's on me when we lose. I didn't. You just said, "Did you get it wrong or right last time?" And I said wrong. You're like, all right, you got the next one. Just go with your gut. I'm never gonna be mad if you go with your gut.
If I'm going with my gut, I'm gonna say Philadelphia.
Okay, lock it in. Don't even.
All right, locking in Philadelphia.
My gut could be wrong.
Yellow.
Give me liberty or give me death. We're going with Philly as well.
Yes. City
you're
of
both-
brotherly love.
You're both correct.
Let's go.
See what I tell
It
you.
is Philadelphia.
All right.
All right.
I'm just a life coach for Kevin's answers.
For all the marbles.
Not really.
Question number 10.
Well, they
tie.
have they have to tie it potentially, right?
Yeah, they have to force a tie.
Hey, should we?
Do we have an overtime?
We do have an overtime.
Okay.
Oh.
I like that.
Dun, 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 dun. Can we get the Family Feud music, like the Fast Money music,
Dun, dun.
when we did overtime?
All righty. The Liberty Bowl has been played in 3 locations. You already know 2 of them. Memphis and Philadelphia. What is the other city?
Arlington. It's Arlington.
A. Arlington, Texas.
I'm dead.
B. Houston, Texas. Or C. Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Bro, if it's Atlantic,
Yellow Studio goes first.
if it's Atlantic City, after I said that comment earlier about them traveling like City, I'm dead. Okay, so Houston is Zach. That's your hometown, is it not?
Yep.
Houston, Texas.
He's
And then-
wearing an Astros hat.
Whew. The plot thickens.
He's very strategic with his day-to-day going activities for this show.
He didn't know I was going to say Atlantic City though, and that's actually an answer, which is crazy.
Right.
So Atlantic City, Houston, or Arlington. Arlington is an out there answer. That's definitely if you're going bold, you're going Arlington. Houston, you got the Zach connection there. Or you go Atlantic City, and do we go with seems like destiny if we were to pick that answer?
Right, exactly.
God,
Is it Arlington?
Arlington, Texas, yep. So 2 Texas cities or the second rate Las Vegas City in New Jersey.
Right.
Which one? I'm so lost here. What do you think?
I mean, I am. There's two options.
But if they played in, never mind. Y'all go.
It's not your turn, Kevin. Oh
Sorry.
my God.
No, go ahead. Give us your input, Kevin. Go ahead. No. I'm either going Houston or Atlantic City.
And they'll go the opposite of us.
Yeah.
So basically, this could really make or break
That's
everything.
true.
So we really got to make sure. I'm kind of leaning towards Houston. I don't know why.
Houston?
I'm leaning towards Houston.
Okay.
Are you willing to go with Houston with me, or do you have any objections?
I'm going with Houston.
Going with Houston?
Locking it in?
Yeah.
Going with Houston.
All right.
All right, Kevin. You
It's
got us
Atlantic City.
here.
It's Atlantic City.
Bring
I looked
us
this one up. It's
home.
Atlantic City.
You
Bring
looked this
us
up.
home.
C. Go.
Not right now. He means
No,
earlier.
earlier.
guys.
I'm about to say, what's going on over
No,
there?
no. C.
And the answer is Atlantic City, New
Let's
Jersey.
Oh my God.
It was,
Let's go.
interestingly enough, it was played at the Atlantic City Convention Hall, the first ever indoor bowl game.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
So it's 5-5,
And we go to overtime.
and we go to overtime.
Oh yeah, it's
Wow.
over for y'all now. Now the dogs are in the pound. It's over.
All righty.
So it's basically just sudden death, right?
So here's how overtime works.
Okay.
Never thought I'd get to this moment.
This question is year-based. Whoever gets the closest wins.
Oh, God.
Well, it's nice playing against Cullen.
Not multiple choice.
Oh,
Pick a
no.
year. is how overtime works in the regular season. When did Memphis State University become the University of Memphis? What year?
Does someone have to go first?
I think it's yellow, right?
Yeah, we just went first.
No, we just went first. What do you mean?
We tried to trick them.
Damn it.
I may be old, but I'm not that old.
Do we have to go first?
Yeah. We
That's like a clear disadvantage.
I mean,
the rule that's in my head is whoever has the most wins so far has to go first. Like it's like
Okay.
home field advantage. So Yellow Studio starts.
oh, okay.
Oh, love that.
Okay. I definitely going to challenge the rules in the offseason to get them changed next offseason.
No complaints.
Yellow fellows.
Whoever picks the closest to the correct year is the one who.
So it was the year that Memphis State became Memphis University.
Yes.
It officially got, the state got taken off the
Yeah, when the
university.
state got dropped.
The state got dropped.
I'm getting 1812.
Just this 1812. Good Lord.
So just after the Revolution, right when the British stormed the Capitol.
1940.
Yeah.
1940.
Man. You're going 1940, Kevin?
No, I'm just.
Okay.
Wow. Is
not
that
our
your final
turn.
answer, Kevin?
No.
Okay.
Okay. God.
What was that movie, 2012, where the world was spinning? That's the year that's in my head.
The closest year. So they're
Blake,
basically.
I swear if you say 2012.
I'm just trying to throw them off.
I know.
You just got to pick a year.
I know. It's very fuzzy.
Has Anthony said a word during this discussion?
Okay, here's the thing, right? I don't think it was as far back as we did originally think.
Yeah.
I think Zach's like purposely trying to trick us to guess like something back
Way out, yeah.
with like all the Civil War questions and everything.
1971 or something back there.
That wasn't that long ago.
Oh man.
So I'm thinking it's kind of like recent, but non-recent. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw out a year in the 90s.
You know what?
Because I'm just thinking.
Colin's birthday.
Low key.
When were you born?
I was born in 95.
95?
Yeah. I kind of want to go with 95.
I'm gonna go with 94.
You have to agree.
I'm going to go with 94.
I'm gonna go with 94, a year before.
Mid-year
All right,
94.
Locking it in at 94.
I guess
Green
so.
Studio.
I guess Anthony's just taking over at this point.
All right, we got to play the numbers game
Okay,
now.
so when I looked it up earlier, not now, earlier, before the show,
Yeah, we're gonna need a booth review on that.
they've had 4 name changes. The original one was Normal People. The second one, it was a long, normal, whatever. The second one had to do something with the teacher school. And then the third was, so what is it? It's
Memphis State.
Memphis State is what it is now, or what was it?
What it was.
So it went from
Memphis
normal
State.
teacher Memphis State, now it's University of Memphis, correct?
Yes.
So 4 name changes.
Take me through it.
So I'm thinking the change can't be anywhere in near the 1800s. We're not looking at that.
Yeah.
It can't be, I don't even think, before 1950s.
No Theodore Roosevelt.
Because if we're talking about the 3rd name change going to the 4th name change, we're looking anywhere in the proximity of 85s to, I don't even want to say 2000s, probably late 90s.
So right where they guessed.
So they said 94.
So do you want to go like under them and get all the numbers below, or do you want to go above and get all the 200?
So I don't. That's the tough thing.
Were they saying up or down?
That's definitely like a Price is Right thing to guess like 1993 and just get everything behind us.
Blake does have the right thought process on that.
Yeah.
So do we think it's later than 2000 or earlier than 2000? That's the main
I
thing.
think it's earlier.
You think it's before 2000?
But I kind of like going like
part
95.
Part of me
and up.
thinks it could be right after 2000.
Yeah, so
And
let's
if
go.
we guess under, then they're right.
Let's do 95 and up. I like that.
95 and up.
Yeah, I mean 95. So if it's above, we'll win. Or are you thinking?
So
it's-
basically taking the over.
yeah, we're taking the over.
All right, we'll go 95. 1995.
Let's go. Just for all the marbles. Set this up, Zach.
All right.
He's like 1972.
It was a great overtime. Both sides came out swinging, but none swung harder than Anthony Council, who nailed it on the head. Let's go! 1994.
No.
It was 1994.
He just guessed the exact year. Every year in the world to guess.
Wow.
He guesses the exact.
You can't
like
even be
one.
mad at that.
As soon as he said that, in my head, I went, "This is amazing."
Oh my God,
Can't
Anthony, I
even be
love
mad
you.
at- Can't even be
Started
mad at
with
that.
Cullen's birthday, and then he randomly
went-
reworked back 1 year.
Exactly.
He saw
got
that. He
it
was just
right.
like, you know what? I'm going 1 year earlier.
Yes.
I think he was trying to cover like all the early years and stuff.
I need a booth review on what
Yeah.
y'all got in there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was
Oh, my
awesome.
And
Anthony,
God.
are you sure you did homework before this, or did you just look up everything?
brother.
That was an Anna type loss. Right
Look,
there,
brother.
man.
Heartbreak.
Look, brother. It was Cullen's birthday recently, so I just was like, you know what? Let's just think of the wildest things. You know, I'm Mr. Optimist, so you know.
But the thing is that you didn't even go with Cullen's birthday.
You said I'll go a year before.
I texted him happy birthday.
I know that, but I'm saying you
I
didn't
was
even.
there in spirit.
Thanks for that. I texted
All right.
him. happy
I mean, you
birthday.
can't.
I think maybe that's a shot at me maybe lying about my age. He's saying I'm older than I actually am. Is that maybe it? I don't know, but that was incredible.
Can't even,
Resilient
can't even,
effort.
What a
Coming
round.
in the clutch.
can't even
Yes.
be mad about it.
Can't come.
What a round.
That was a good game.
That'll do it for another episode of The Green Guys. Until next time, go Mean Green.
Hello, this is Joe Green, and you're listening to the Green Guys on KNTU. 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 KNTU.